2 million people, one sea, no way across, and the most powerful military force on the planet closing in from behind. This is the moment where the story should have ended.
We are trapped! The Egyptians are coming! Why have you brought us here to die in the wilderness?
Where Moses should have been captured, the Israelites dragged back in chains.
We told you this would happen. The Egyptians will capture us. Why did you lead us here only to die?
And history forgotten forever. But something happened at this exact shoreline that nobody, not one person standing there, saw coming. And once you hear it, you will never forget it. We left Egypt destroyed. 10 plagues had torn through the most powerful empire on earth like a hurricane. And by the final morning, Pharaoh himself was begging Israel to leave. "Get out," he said. "Take everything. Just go."
Go! Leave my country, all of you! Take your belongings and be gone!
And so 2 million men, women, and children walked out of slavery for the first time in 430 years. Can you even picture that? A nation of people who had never known freedom, suddenly free, walking out into open desert air with their children on their shoulders, their whole lives packed onto their backs, heading towards something they had only ever been promised. But Pharaoh did what Pharaoh always did. He changed his mind. The grief of that final plague barely cooled before the thought crept back in. Who is going to build my cities now? Who is going to work my fields? He looked at his generals, and he said those words that sealed his fate. Bring them back. 600 of his finest chariots, his entire cavalry, the full force of the Egyptian military, turned and pointed at 2 million unarmed people walking through the desert. Imagine you are in that crowd. You just walked out of the worst chapter of your life.
We are free! Look, the promised land! Wait, what is that? It's the Egyptians! Run!
You thought it was finally over. And then someone behind you screams, and you turn around, and there it is. The whole Egyptian army, coming fast, and in front of you, as far as you can see in either direction, nothing but open water. They turned on Moses, and honestly, can you blame them?
We are dying out here! Why did you bring us from Egypt? Give us water, or we will stone you!
Were there not enough graves in Egypt? They shouted at him. Did you bring us out here to die in the desert? This is one of the most painfully human moments in the entire Bible. These were people who had just witnessed 10 miraculous plagues with their own eyes. Blood, fire from the sky, 3 days of total darkness. And the moment real fear showed up, they forgot every single one. That is not a character flaw unique to them. That is just people. That is all of us when the water is at our feet and the danger is behind us. Stand firm. Be still. 2 of the hardest instructions ever given to a crowd of 2 million terrified people with an army behind them and a sea in front of them. But Moses had seen things. He had stood in front of a burning bush that never burned up. He had stretched his staff over the Nile and watched it run red. He had seen the darkness fall. He knew something the crowd did not yet understand, that the situation being impossible was exactly the point. Before a single wave moved, something else happened first. The pillar of cloud that had been guiding Israel through the desert all this time moved. It swung around and positioned itself directly between the 2 groups. On the Egyptian side, total darkness. On the Israel side, blazing light. The army froze. They could not advance. Not yet. The whole night they sat there, stopped by something they could not fight or explain. Moses stretched his hand out over the sea, and God drove the water back with an east wind that blew all night. Now let that land for a second. An east wind, all night. This was not a snap of the fingers. It was a sustained, powerful, impossible act that built slowly and then, all at once, split. The waters split. Two walls of the Red Sea standing vertical like mountains of glass. Held back by something that had no business holding water in place. And between them, a path, dry ground, wide enough for 2 million people to walk through. This is the moment. This is the image that every generation since has carried in their mind. Not because it was beautiful, though it must have been terrifying and beautiful.
Move quickly! The way is open! A miracle! Look how high the water is! We must hurry!
At the same time, but because of what it meant. The impossible became a road. The thing that was going to drown them became the path that saved them. They walked through, all of them. 2 million people crossing the floor of the Red Sea with walls of water on their left and their right. Think about what that looked like from inside. You could see the fish. You could reach out and touch the water with your hand. Every step forward was a step that should have been impossible. And yet, the ground was dry beneath their feet the whole way through. And then Pharaoh did the last thing anyone with any sense would do. He followed them in. 600 chariots, horsemen, the full army, drove right down into the path between the walls of water. And for a moment, it must have seemed like it was going to work. Moses stretched out his hand one more time, and the sea came back, every drop of it. In a moment, the path was gone, the army was gone, and the Red Sea looked exactly as it had the morning before, as if none of it had ever happened, except that 2 million people were standing on the other side.
Look at the water, completely calm. It is a miracle.
We are finally free. Thank the Almighty.
Alive, free, and watching in stunned silence. The Bible says they sang. Right there on the shore, still catching their breath, still in shock, they sang. Because sometimes the only response to witnessing something that should not be possible is to just stand there and make noise about it. The sea that was supposed to end their story became the moment their story truly began. Which moment hit you hardest? The walls of water rising? The army following them in? Or the silence right after the sea came back? Tell me below and subscribe, because next we are going somewhere far darker. The Nephilim, the giants the Bible tried to hide in plain sight.